Hey there, vinyl community. I think I'm up and running here. Um, so I saw this vinyl tag business that everybody seems to be doing, and thought I'd give it. I thought I'd give it a try. Stunt Rock Confusion did the other vinyl tag, so I'm participating in the other vinyl tag, which I guess is just part of everyone seems to be doing their own thing, the jazz tag, and so here you have it. Got 13 questions laid out, and thought we'd give it a go. So if I'm not mistaken here, sorry, should be more prepared. I'm trying to work and do this at the same time. So if I seem a little distracted, maybe I am. Um, so yeah, the first question was show the longest vinyl quest that you've had that ended in 2023, which is a good one for me because there are two records that have been on my list for a long time. And one of them is kind of rare, to find. The other one is not really rare, but rare to find in like a decent condition. So that was uh, Curtis Mayfield's second record. This is an album that has "Move On Up" was a hit, pretty sizable hit in the '70s. This is I found many copies of it over the years, but never one that was in nice condition. This was still in the shrink and just waiting in the used bin for me at a very reasonable price. Vinyl looks brand new, and yeah, I couldn't be happier about that. And the other one, which was more of a real quest, because there's a high demand for these, and the truth is they weren't big sellers back in the day. But I've wanted a nice copy of the first Funkadelic record for a long time. And I finally was able to secure a really nice one. The vinyl is perfect, and the sleeve is still in really nice condition. These were, party records, and people played them, man. They used them, and they didn't necessarily, you know, back in the day, you just throw the record up on the thing, and that's how it gets scratched. So it was great to find one of these, and it's a real gem for me, a real find. So those were kind of the two. So the next was show the best deal you got on a record. Well, that was a pretty good one too, because there was a record that I'd wanted for a long time, and the prices of these had just gone up. And I got real lucky one day and found an original of Town Van Zandt. It's on the that beautiful plum label. I guess you don't really need to see it, but got this. I don't necessarily want to say the exact amount, but let's just say that it was at a record show, and I found it in a bin with a bunch of other country music records, and it was just priced just like all the rest of them were. And when I saw it, I went, "That's I don't know what's going on with that," but the guy was happy to get rid of it, and I was happy to get it. So there's that. Number three was okay, like your new release. Show a record that or band or artist that you got in 2023, and I've been listening to this record quite a bit. Um, I just recently got it, and fantastic record. Uh, Ambient, kind of, you know, how do you put it? Avant-garde ambient. Great record. Saw this on a couple platforms, but originally it was on Stunt Rock Confusion's live stream, and had been on my wish list for a while, and finally pulled the trigger. I think this is a really great album. Next, number four, right? Number four is show a record people would be surprised that you have. I like this question. This is a good question. There's a couple of ways I could have looked at this. Um, There's another record that I have that I think people might be surprised when they watch my channel. They'd be surprised that I own. But I went in this direction, and I think this is a pretty killer record, and people might laugh. The cover is certainly laughable, but Herbie Mann, this is, it has the touchable push push. This is a funky little record, and Herbie Mann, despite that cover photo, God, what were they thinking? Is a nice record, nice funky groovy record. If you like jazz flute, this is a great way to introduction to the Herbie Mann catalog, and which can be hit or miss, but this is a hit, and a really cool record that he did. Next was show a record that you got in 2023 thanks to the VC. Yeah, that's a good one. Well, there's two again. I should probably be being. This was record I saw on Stunt Rock Confusion's live stream that he played. Real nice, jazzy, free jazz kind of spirit about it, and pretty tough record to find too. But I was got real lucky and tracked down a copy, and great record. And the other was a record I saw on a couple of different channels. I think, like, if I'm not mistaken, I saw this on Big Star from Fred's channel. I saw it on Dom's channel on Seeking the Thread, and I saw it on Alex Motorek on his channel too, and I believe it was on Alex's too. But anyway, this is a jazz record, really good jazz record, and on the it's got some tracks on it that add like electronics, and just a really cool, way ahead of its time kind of sound, almost a jazzy techno sound, if you can imagine. And yeah, it was really cool to find that, and I thank those guys for showing it. All good channels, man. The best, you know. The next was show a record that you got that you got in your teens that you upgraded in vinyl. There's a couple of things I could have done with this, but I decided this isn't really something I found in my teens. I think I was probably more in my early 20s or when this first came out. Not sure, but there was a reissue of it, and finding originals in good condition was, and this is a Detroit Escalator company, and this is a good, this is Detroit techno, but it's it says right on here, you know, for people who like Global Communications, Black Dog, Tangerine Dream, File under Klaus Schultz. So it's got a real kind of krautrock sensibility to it, and but it's, you know, area code. It's called area code 311. And for those that don't know, area code 311, which used to be my area code at one time, it's not anymore, but area code 311 is a long existing area code for the city of Detroit, and you know, if you had a 311 area code, you know, there was a time people kind of looked at you with a certain yeah. So yeah, great Detroit techno record, but ambient and goes in a lot of different directions. And they did a reissue on it, and the reissue is really nice and pretty easily attainable right now. So if you like this kind of thing, now's the time to take advantage of it. So really happy to see that come out. It's a show a record that you love the sleeve of. I think I've shown this before, but this, man, I love the sleeve. I think it's dynamite, and just says everything that you need to know about the music. There we go. Thinking of You. Great. Hard to describe this music. It's certainly electronic, but jazzy and you know, really all over the place in a certain sense. Really a great find. Also saw this on Stunt Rock Infusion's live stream. So there's that. Okay. Next is show a band you wish didn't release an album in 2023. This is a good one. There are two that I think of right away. Two bands that, one is still pretty important to me. I still am a big Rolling Stones fan. And probably my favorite Stones album, or one of them, the Satanic Majesty's Request. Really, I think, underrated. This is the one that has that cool cover on it. But I think a really, the Stones went psychedelic on this, and people said, oh, they're just copying the Beatles, and I'll be honest, I'll take this over Sgt. Pepper anytime. But the Stones released a new album this year, as I think folks in the VC knew, and it got promoted that it was this great new album, and I'm sorry, I didn't hear it, and I think it was, I think it's time for the band to just stop making new material, and if they can still tour at the ages that they're at, then God bless them, but they've been making mediocre records for 30 years, and this one that they just made is no different. And they should just stop making records. It's time for them to stop. And the other one would be, at one time, Metallica. The first Metallica record was, and the next few that came out after that were big high school records for me, and or even before high school, and they keep putting out these albums that are just get a lot of press. And I heard a little bit of, I don't know, it's redundant at this point, and I guess they're still functioning as musicians, and they're still going to put out product. I don't blame them for doing it, but every time they put an album out, it's a return to form, and their newest one is no return to form. It's just the same thing that they've been doing for a long time. I know a lot of people disagree with that and feel differently, and I don't mean it, if you dig it, man, I'm good with that. It's not nothing, it's just my personal feeling about it. And the Stones too, people love that band, and those guys have become like superheroes to people. I get it, I like Mick and Keith and Ronnie and those guys, and I have, several dozen Rolling Stones records, all of which I cherish, but, since, the last album I could say for me did anything, I think I saw the Stones on the Steel Wheels tour, and that was it. I'm done after that. I don't need anything that they did after that. And this latest album is something that I think a lot of people are going to buy it and stick it on the shelf, and there it'll sit. And like I said, just my personal feeling. Show a record that you got as a gift in 2023. Well, I've got one. Yeah, I got a good one. So I've wanted this record, an original of this, for a long time. Love Sonic Youth, and finding originals of this record it's pretty hard. And I got this as a gift this year, and it's the original actually came out with this cover, and there was a picture right here, and then the band started getting some flack. It was a naked photo or something, and they started shipping out the new ones that actually they took a sticker and they put it over the photograph. And so this is it is a first pressing, but it's the second batch that went out. The band was still using the same sleeves but covered. Eventually, there's a picture of Disneyland there that got taken off, and I'm pretty sure that eventually this photo got taken off too. So a great album. Some people, say this is the first Sonic Youth album that's really starting to coalesce. I don't think so. I think the stuff they did before this was great too, but this certainly is a dynamite album, and I'm very glad to get this, and I thank the person that bought it for me for getting this for me. And next, we have, oh, name channel, a VC channel that has shown records that you're jealous of. Man, there are so many. I can't even begin. It's like all my favorite channels. The one that comes to mind immediately is Michael 45 showed these gorgeous first pressings, German first pressings of Can and Neu. And I'm looking at them and just going, oh my God! And it's a pleasure just to see them. Um, um, I have some Can originals, but they're U.S. Can originals, and those were used to see those around, and I was fortunate enough to grab most of them. But to see a German one, and I imagine the sound is really crisp and tight, and so that's cool. Stun Rock Confusion often shows records that I look at and drool over, as does Seeking a Thread, and as does Alex on Motorec 247. Big Star, Fred on Big Star also shows records all the time that I'm just knocked out over. And sometimes with stuff that I've never seen before, and sometimes a record that I've just been lusting after for a long time. And yeah, those are all cool channels, and other ones too. Show a record you bought because because of its connection to another band that was not that band. I think that's the meaning of this question. In connection, but not the main artist. Yeah. So this is an album by. You don't see this around very often. All the Woo in the World. This is Funkadelic's original keyboard player. And he did a solo album, and I've wanted a copy of this for a long time, and every once in a while I stumble across one, they just be destroyed. And then one day I found this one, still in the damn shrink. Beautiful record. And this is a fun, funky little record that when Funkadelic made their contract, when George Clinton, he was at Parliament, and then they broke off, and they had the record company let them do records under Parliament and under Funkadelic. A lot of the same players, and because Parliament was the more commercial end of it, the disco end of it, where they were making money, and they let him indulge himself on some of the other releases. But they also simultaneously let some of the players cut deals for their own solo records too. So a lot of the players from Funkadelic got solo deals, and this is one that you just don't see around that often that I think is really cool. Anyway, so I think there's a couple more questions here. 12 is an artist you hope to see a new album from. There's a couple. I was on Thrill Jockey's website, and I try to check their stuff for new things. And I noticed I was playing parts of an album by the Body and Disfig, Orchards of Feudal Heaven, and it sounded really, really cool. And that's going to be coming out, I know, in 2024. And then they're doing a reissue of this Microstoria record, double album, and I like that a lot, and it'd be cool to. Thrill Jockey is a great way of finding a lot of good new music. I always check their sites, and you can sample parts of songs, and they make it real easy, and they're great to order directly from, and you get if you're here in the States anyway, you get the records in no time. I don't know how it is like in Europe or in other parts of the world, but yeah, it's a website worth checking, and a lot of great bands on there. Stuff you've never even heard of, but that you can check it out and go, wow, that's really good. Finally, show a record that you want to spend more time investigating and listening to. Well, this record that I'm playing right now is this Steve Lacy collaboration that I really like a lot. And I'm going to modify the question a little bit and say that Steve Lacy is someone I was not that familiar with until, a couple years ago, and everything that I've had by him I really like, and I would like to spend some more time investigating that catalog, and I will be getting into it a little bit more. But this is a great album that mixes kind of a avant-garde jazz with Eastern sounds, and it really works. Killer record. So those are my answers to the 13 questions, the other vinyl tag, or however we're going to call it. And hope everyone is good and enjoys the fun of the vinyl tag period in the community. And this is my first time doing it, so if it was a little choppy, you have to forgive me. All right, thanks everybody.